you get about 20 or 30 Mutalisks flying around the map. That is extremely hard to deal with, even with Thors. IMNesTea, for his part, sitting at his 4th base, far on the other side of the map, but we have a big push coming in from Jinro, sending a couple of Marines in first to snipe out creep tumors. Siege tanks going down, and this is going to be quite a push here. We have a Marine running in here, scouting around. He's looking for a 3rd base, looking for a natural base down here, not going to find it, so he's probably going to be able to infer that there is at least one other base somewhere else on the map, and now he is pushing in, doing that slow, nasty Terran push that every Zerg player hates. 2 Thors in the back to deal with those Mutalisks, and just a little pack of Marines probably looking to bait out some Banelings, if he can get some Banelings chasing him back into those siege tanks. But now we got IMNesTea moving in with so many Mutalisks, so many Zerglings, so many Banelings, magic boxing over those Thors, and look at all that. That Terran army was completely crushed by IMNesTea's attack. Great defense. I would say that Jinro's biggest mistake is probably having engaged on the creep. He should have thrown down another scan and made sure that he got all of the tumors. I think his scans were just a little bit in between, so we missed that one tumor, allowing these Banelings and Zerglings to run in at an extra 30% movement speed. But a good hit from those Thors are going to drive away these Mutalisks. And once again, map control is in the hands of IMNesTea. He has the towers, and he is forcing Jinro to just kind of hang out at his base. Jinro, for his part, keeping up with his upgrades, getting Terran infantry level 2 and infantry weapons level 3, going to make those Marines extremely powerful. Marines with level 3 weapon upgrades are probably one of the most effective units in the game, especially in mass, and we see him just producing them as such. So many Marines coming out 5 at a time. Probably going to see some more barracks coming up as Jinro's resources are getting a little bit high. He's probably aware of the fact that he needs to throw down some more production structures, and we have a drop heading over to what Jinro has to assume is another base. He doesn't see them, but he's got to be aware that something is over there, and we'll see how effective that drop is. Oh, we even have a second drop, 2 medevacs full of Marines. I bet that we are going to see 2 drops at the same time. Trying the frontal assault was unable to crack the Zerg defense, so he's going to go for more of a stealthy ninja attack from 2 angles. He's going to try to distract, divide the armies up, and we already have, as you can see, IMNesTea moving out with his Zerglings and Banelings to try to deal with those Marines at the north. But there's a drop of 2 full medevacs going after all this stuff, but a ton of Mutalisks taking down all these Marines. Medevacs cannot heal quickly enough, and even up here, these Marines forced to lift off as IMNesTea was able to split his forces very well. Zerglings and Banelings going north, and Mutalisks going south, taking care of everything that Jinro can do. And I would say that Jinro is kind of behind at this point. It's up to him to make something happen. It's up to him to get a little bit of momentum going, and look at that. The Zerglings and Banelings are still there, and Jinro just playing this game, lifting and dropping on the high ground, dropping on the low ground, and rinse and repeat. But soon enough, the Mutalisks are going to arrive and take care of all of these Marines, and this medevac is not long for this world. Oh no, medevac, run! Poor medevac. Off she goes. But in the meantime, we see more Marines, more medevacs coming from Jinro. He is not perturbed by the loss of his army, and for his part, IMNesTea is nearly maxed out. He's going to be he's feeling good on his economy. He has got his 4 bases, he's got a 5th base going up, and it's going to get to the point where soon he's going to want to start attacking, throwing some of his army at Jinro. He's stockpiling a huge amount of resources, almost 3,000 minerals, and these Mutalisks are trying to intercept this pack of Marines and siege tanks. Another scan going down. Very important to snipe those creep tumors. They are probably one of the most important sections for the buildings for the Zerg player. 30% bonus speed for ground units and vision is nothing to laugh at. And I would say Jinro, yep, he's looking to secure his 4th. He's aware now that he is behind on bases, which means he's going to be behind on production. And IMNesTea, having maxed out, is hopefully looking to move in and do a little bit of damage. He has a huge flock of Mutalisks, but there are so many Marines here, and if Jinro plays his cards right, he's going to be able to use these siege tanks and Marines to keep everything back. Look at that. Huge hits from those siege tanks. The minute that these Banelings and Zerglings get close, they are just going to get annihilated by all of these tanks. IMNesTea is moving into Greater Spire. Looks like we're going to be getting some Broodlords. Level 3 melee attack coming in. And interesting what he's doing here. He realizes that he is stockpiling so many resources. He probably does not need so many drones, but what he does need is supply. So he's turning these drones into spine crawlers, which not only frees up supply, but gives just more stuff for the Terran to have to get through before he actually has to engage him with his army. And even another sensor tower going down for Jinro. He's going to have coverage of everything, and we have both these armies just moving back and forth, trying to find the best position. Siege tanks sieging in and out of siege mode, and this is just a back and forth dance. Both players are trying to maximize their advantage, trying to minimize their opponent's advantage. We have another nice little engagement coming down here. This planetary fortress is not quite done. Lifting off just in time. Those Banelings almost showed up, and now the Banelings getting just torn up by the Marines. A big hit, killing about half those Marines, but the siege tanks going down means that these Banelings and Zerglings are forced to run all the way to the side. Mutalisks over here, kind of trapped behind enemy lines, but these Zerglings and Banelings are going to sneak into the base. That supply depot is lowered. Looks like they're going to focus down the supply depot. These Banelings so slow off the creep, able to take down some Marines, some bad micro from Jinro, but we have Mutalisks coming in from the south. We have Zerglings and Banelings coming in from the north, running rampant through this through the base. And it looks like the Marines are coming in very low on health, but they are able to take down the Banelings. And now I think that these Zerglings are on a suicide mission, doing as much damage as they can. The Mutalisks are going to run out, but that was a fairly decent attack. And IMNesTea, despite having lost almost his entire army, is nearly back at full supply. That really shows the power of a macro Zerg running off of 5 bases, and that poor medevac. Again, the medevacs getting sniped down left and right in this game. They should have stayed on the ground. They should have stayed as medics. Oh well, what are you going to do? They probably would have been killed by Mutalisks anyway. Now we got a Thor coming out, and another remacroed army from Jinro. He has a ton of tanks. Most of these tanks are doing very well. They are kind of veteran tanks. They've been sieging up all over the map, and a bunch more Marines. We have Marines being produced a ton at a time. Viking coming out, and a lot of Broodlords are going to be morphed in. We have 7 Broodlords on the field already, and if Jinro does not produce more Vikings, he's going to be in big trouble. Now we have the Broodlords flying around, looking for position. A couple of Infestors, lots of energy. The Infestors are going to lock down the Marines from sniping the Broodlords. The Corruptors are going to kill any medevacs. The Mutalisks are going to destroy all the tanks and provide support for the Marines, while these Broodlords just go to town. The Broodlords have now been revealed. It looks like they took out a Marine at this watchtower, and Jinro is going to need to produce way more Vikings. He has 2 being produced at a time, but IMNesTea's army is almost entirely air. And we see here that Jinro getting a great scan off. He's able to spot tons of the Corruptors. And now here they come in with the Mutalist support. Wow. Marines dead from the Banelings. I think those were the only 2 Banelings left on the map, and they got their value. But again, we have more Marines coming down, just attacking from the north, attacking from the south. And now it's this time, it is Jinro who's taking advantage of the fact that IMNesTea has a fairly immobile army relative to the earlier game, before he had Zerglings and Banelings that could run all over the map, and he had siege tanks and Marines. This time, Corruptors and the Broodlords are just so slow, and these Mutalisks cannot really comfortably engage all of these Marines on their own, and the Greater Spire, the Infestation Pit, and the Spawning Pool was sniped down. That is going to set back IMNesTea's tech enormously. IMNesTea, in response to that, deciding to get an Ultralisk Cabin, rebuilding his Infestation Pit, not building his Spawning Pool yet, but now we have an attack on this 5th base. But here come the Broodlords, finally in position. It looks like all these tanks are going to go down. This Thor is doing its best, but there's a fungal growth on the tanks. This hatchery goes down. The Marines are way out of position. The Vikings are going to town on these Broodlords, but there's just not enough of them. Mutalisks and Corruptors cleaning up the Vikings. Fungal growth on the Marines, and there go more of them. The entire army from Jinro completely destroyed. He is down by 70 supply now, while IMNesTea, maybe being up north here, a little bit out of position, cannot immediately counterattack, but he has got the army advantage. He's got the resource advantage. Look at that, almost 8,000 minerals, 2,000 gas, mildly supply locked for the moment, but that is not going to be a problem. He has 3 Ultralisks coming in. His Spire is almost complete again. He'll be able to produce Mutalisks some more, and we have Jinro realizing that he needs this base. He's got to take it right now, or he's going to lose the game immediately. Nice stim from the Marines, driving away those Mutalisks, but the Broodlords are coming in from the right-hand side, and I still don't think there's enough Vikings there. Look at all those Broodlords coming down. +3 attack on those Neoclaws, +2 attack on the air weapons. This air army is something you don't see very often from Zerg and Zerg versus Terran. Normally they stick with the Tired and True, Zergling, Baneling, Infestors, sometimes going into, or Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk, usually going into Broodlord to support the Zerglings and the Banelings, but never with so many. And these Marines are trapped, trying to break down the structural walls, forced to go after the Broodlords, killing 2. Big fungal growth pulling down there, and LiquidJinro realizes that he is not going to be able to survive. He is completely out macroed. He is almost out of resources. He is mined out at his main, at his natural, at his expansion. He is just now getting mining at his 4th, but considering all the Broodlords knocking at his door, all the mutas, all these corruptors that are going to turn into Broodlords, he just doesn't have the production, he doesn't have the army. Great game. Amazing play by both players. Good stuff.